Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Rita. So today's video is going to be a foundation try on. I'm going to be trying on a new foundation that I've never worn before, and I'm going to share with you the things I like about it as I apply, and also anything that I don't like about the foundation, if at all. So it's the Dior foundation, the newest one, which is the Dior Backstage Face and Body Foundation. It retails for £29 for the 50 ml bottle, which is a good thing because the standard size of a foundation bottle is 30 ml, so it's such a good price, £29 for 50 ml. Dior makeup artists describe this foundation as the secret weapon to creating an instantly flawless complexion with ultra buildable coverage, from natural nude glow to high coverage perfection. So we're looking for that natural nude glow with a sheer coverage and that high coverage perfection. So it's a natural finish, sheer to full, as I said. Depending on how you like your foundation, the application process will give you that type of coverage. So if you want a sheer coverage, use your fingers to apply the foundation, spread it around evenly and use one layer. If you want a medium or moderate coverage, 2 layers of the foundation using a foundation brush, starting at the center and moving outwards. And if you want a full coverage, 3 layers of the foundation using this foundation brush again, but using circular motions as you apply, so from the center sort of moving outwards. So it comes in 40 shades, which is great as well for such a high-end foundation. Normally with like designer brand foundations, you get such a limited shade range. So this is a good thing that Dior have done a foundation with 40 shades, which, you know, it caters for quite a lot of people. So I think I've taken you through all the things. So I haven't actually bought the foundation. I got the sample of the foundation. I was in fact given 2 samples. So what I'll do is I'll try both of the shades, one on either side, and then you can see. So depending on what your complexion is compared to mine, you can see from these 2. So the first shade that I've got is 6N, which is a neutral toned one. It's for deep tan skin with neutral undertones, and also I've got shade 6.5, which is for deep tanned skin to, for deep tan skin to very deep tan skin. So these are the 2 samples I've got. So that's the shade 6N, and that's 6.5N. So I don't like to put foundation on with my fingers, so I'm going to use a brush for all of the application. And what I'll do is I'll start with the sheer coverage, so then I'll build on the foundation. So it says for sheer coverage, just use 1 layer. So I will assume 1 layer is a few dots and blend it out. So looking at the foundation against my skin, it kind of looks a little bit too orange and looks a little bit dark for what my preference would be. I like a foundation that looks really neutral so that it doesn't look too orange on my face. But as I blend it out, we'll see how that looks. I wasn't color matched for the foundation samples. The lady just gave me 2 shades which she thought would work well on my skin. So I'm going to blend this out. So this is a sheer coverage. As you can see, I've blended it all out. Comparing the two sides, you can see that it looks almost like my natural skin, but just perfected. There isn't too much difference in that. However, you can see that on this side it looks a little bit more flawless compared to that side where you can see all of the imperfections. So that I like. Also, it feels really, really light, and even to touch, it's not greasy, it's not shiny, it's not very oily. And also the amount of transfer, as you can see, I've just touched my face, but there isn't too much in terms of transfer. So it feels like the foundation goes onto the skin and kind of mattifies, which is good. For me, I like a foundation that's somewhat natural or matte, but it's not too drying. So I'm going to put on another layer and see. So this would be the second layer. So that is the medium coverage. So you can already see that with that second layer you start to see a bit more coverage compared to this side, where you can still see a bit of all of the imperfections, whereas on this side it starts to hide them, and you can now tell that I am actually wearing a foundation. With the first layer, it doesn't look so much like you're wearing a foundation. It kind of looks like maybe you've got a tinted moisturizer or just a light powder on. But with the second layer you can start to see some coverage, and you can see that you have a foundation. So far I like the way it looks, I like how it applies, I like the color in comparison to my neck. It feels really, really comfortable and breathable. It doesn't feel heavy or anything. So we'll do the third layer now. And for the third layer it says circular motions. So bring it down a bit. Okay, so this is the fullest coverage with the foundation that you get. So again, comparing to the side that has no foundation, it doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel like I've got a heavy foundation on, and also it doesn't feel uncomfortable. It's not a caked on look. It's just a nice neutral finish, full coverage foundation, which is a comfortable wear. Definitely, I really still like the shade. I like it against my neck, and I think it's a foundation that I definitely would wear, and it's definitely a foundation that I would recommend. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So I'm going to put the first layer of 6.5N. I'll put the second layer, and then I'll make it full coverage, so we can do a comparison with both of them. So this is what 6.5 looks like. Just come closer so you can see. Definitely this has a lot more red in it. It's definitely too dark for my skin, and it's not a match. That's the sheer cover. You can see that it's a lot darker. However, I can still work with it, particularly when I put on a highlight. I think it would kind of work, but it depends as well the type of weather it is and how much it oxidizes. So that is the sheer coverage with this. I'll go ahead and do a second layer, and then I'll do a third layer, and then I'll tell. Okay, so that is the second layer, which is the medium coverage. And now I'll put the final one to make it full coverage. Circular motion. So the more layers I put on the foundation, the darker it becomes, and you can clearly see that this one is a little bit too red for my skin. Although it could work with a highlighter, as I mentioned, highlighting and contouring, it still is dark, and I think after wearing this for a few hours it would definitely go really dark, whereas this side I could work with. So what I want to do is actually try and highlight under my eyes, and I'm going to use the foundation that I use for highlighting. It's the Clinique Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer, and it's in the shade 21, which is cream caramel. So I'll do that on both sides, and then I'll just blend that out. So you can see with the highlight it starts to look really nice. So where I've put the highlight, that's actually 4 layers of the foundation, but it still doesn't look like I've caked on the foundation. It doesn't feel too heavy, and bearing in mind that the highlighting foundation I've used is actually a full coverage foundation, it still feels quite comfortable over the Dior foundation. So you see what I meant, on both sides with the highlight it actually does work, and I can get away with this side, but it would just mean that after a few hours that side would go much darker, whereas this side won't be as bad. So definitely I like this side. Definitely I think that this side is the better match for my skin tone. So I hope that trying this foundation, especially side by side, gives you an idea of what the two shades look like, and if your skin tone is like mine or close to mine, you can sort of work out which of the foundation is nice. I'm not going to put all over, and it's a good thing that I'm not going out, so it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to wash this foundation off. I will keep it for a few hours and see how it changes through the day as I carry on with my day. What I would do, I think maybe in the future, I will try and wear the foundation for a lot longer so that it will give me a better idea of how the foundation wears, if it's long wearing or if it's not. But in terms of the coverage and the way the foundation feels and the actual texture, I would say I like all of them. I do prefer a moderate coverage with this foundation. However, I think from sheer to full coverage it's pretty comfortable. So just depending on the time of day, maybe going from day to night, I think sheer coverage for daytime would work perfectly, and then a full coverage for nighttime would work. But even a full coverage for daytime would still work because it feels really nice on. It's so comfortable, and just even to touch, like, it's really light. So the things I like about the foundation, definitely the 6N, I like the color of it. I love the texture. I like how it goes on. It's really easy. It just glides on, and it doesn't dry on to the skin in a bad way that you have to be really quick when you're mixing. You know, it's such a good foundation, so I definitely give it a thumbs up. It's definitely a foundation that I could rate in my top 5 foundations, and I look forward to trying it on and eventually actually buying it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I will try and do a check-in just so I can show you what it looks like after a few hours. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember to give it a thumbs up if you did. Also remember to share, and yeah, if you have any comments, feel free to leave them in the comments section. Otherwise, I will see you in my next video. Bye.